Good morning, everybody. My name is Max Edwards. I'm the US-based sales engineer for Kakapo Systems. I do manage all of our customers here in North America. And today I'm delighted to be joining you to discuss our web chat media stream with our Kakapo Contact Center. Now, what I'd like to accomplish in this webinar is first and foremost, I want to define and go over what a web chat is, just so we're all on the same page. The second thing is I want to go over, why web chat, why we should choose web chat, why we should have that as an option. We'll do a live demonstration of our web chat in action from both the agent perspective as well as the customer perspective. We'll take a little bit of a look at the configuration and setup just so we can kind of get an idea of how easy it is to create and get added to your website. And then we'll break it off for question and answer at the end. All right, so let's go ahead and let's begin. So first and foremost, just so we're all on the same page here, what is a web chat? So for us, a web chat is a media stream, or more simply, a communication channel that allows customers to communicate directly with companies, usually on their websites and pretty much in real time. Now, our web chat media stream can be used with Unity clients in conjunction with your ACD calls. So it does provide you multiple avenues or multiple streams for customer contact. And web chat is one of the 5 media streams currently on offer with Kakapo Systems and Unity. Now, now that we know what a web chat is, why would we want to choose a web chat? So first and foremost, they're easy to set up and easy to amend with us. As I'll show you near the end of the live demonstration, there's really just there's not too many options. You have to get set up, and it's easy to make changes as needed. Your web chats will scale with your business. So maybe you start with one web chat, then as you grow or as your clients grow, you can add more. We can add departments. There's really a whole lot that we can do with our web chats, and they can really scale with your business. There's minimal training required. Most clients of ours, most customers of ours in today's day and age are familiar with web chats. They've used them in their personal life. A lot of your employees, a lot of your users will have used web chats in their personal lives as well. So it's something people are familiar with. Web chats will improve your customer experience because you're giving another avenue for real-time communication without having to get on a phone call. And the last thing here is we do have a feature called presence-based scripting, which means you won't miss customer interactions. For example, presence-based scripting will allow you to, during your business hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, have a web chat widget pop up so customers can talk to agents. Outside of business hours, we can have a web callback widget pop up, allowing customers to schedule a callback for during business hours. All right, now what I'd like to do at this point in time is I actually want to go ahead and switch over to our live demo of the web chat so we can see what that looks like in action. All right, excellent. So a couple of things here before we jump into the demo, just so we're all on the same page here with our Unity client. We have our ACD agent controls as well as our call controls up top. We do have our overall queue statistics over here so you can see what's going on with the queue. And down below, we have contacts as well as a few other fields that allow us to get more information about what our contacts and our agents are doing, or see our activity logs for abandoned calls. But what we're really going to be focusing on is this middle section here, because this is where all of the inbound action happens. This is where you'll see your phone calls pop up, you'll see your web chats pop up, emails, text messages, any of your media streams. Now, we do have a web chat popping up here, so I'm going to go ahead and double click it. And basically for this web chat here, I'm going to go ahead and reserve it. Now, the reason I did that is with web chats, like phone calls, we do need to basically answer them or say, hey, I'm going to get this conversation. I'm going to be speaking with this client. With a phone call, you have to pick up the phone in order to initiate that conversation. With your web chat, reserving is basically answering the phone. Now, before we reply to Michael here, there's a few other things I'd like to point out. So first and foremost, we know that this is Michael Smith and he's a Salesforce contact. So I do have my Salesforce tied into Unity. There are many benefits for that. One of the few, you can have automatic call logging. In our case here, we do have a client of record contacting us, and because they used a piece of information we have on file for them, we're able to identify them. The other thing I also wanted to point out is if you look down below here in your history, you'll actually see a history of previous interactions with this customer. So for instance, maybe this customer is calling in or writing in or I should say writing in for something they spoke about previously, I can go ahead and click on one of those previous conversations, and I can actually see what happened. I can read that previous interaction. I can also see some performance metrics for that. So going back to our conversation here, we're going to go ahead and respond to Michael. Now I can just type in my conversation field, but if you have, ways that you want agents to always greet customers, if there's certain things that they always need to say, you can add those in canned replies. So all I have to do is go ahead and double click in order to send that canned reply out. You do have the option to customize it. Maybe I want to add in something a little different. I can click it once, which will copy it into the conversation field. And then I can go ahead and then type in Michael's name to customize it a little bit more. And then Michael's already told us he wants to set up a demo. So we're going to send him this form. So we're going to go into resources for that. Now, in real life, people don't have to actually send out a form and fill out a form for demos. But just as an example, I do want to show you here that we can send through this form. And then pretty much Michael will fill that out and then he can get that back to us. Now, Michael's happy with everything. We're pretty much finished with this conversation. You folks may have noticed these buttons on top before, so let's just talk about them for a moment before we end this interaction. So first and foremost, your transfer is for other agents. Maybe there's something that came up and I need to leave, but this conversation is still ongoing. I can transfer Michael off to Aaron or Lucy so they can continue that conversation. And so pretty much I can go handle what I need. You have your codes here if we want to categorize your different interactions. We'll do this as an existing customer. This close will actually end the conversation, but you also have the ability to view this contact within your CRM, or we can add in a CRM log entry, which will include a link to the transcript of this conversation. So you can log your web chats along with your phone calls as well. And then you have your add attachment, which is also what your resources allow you to do. So we're going to go ahead and close that. And that is the web chat experience from the agent perspective. All right, excellent. So now the other perspective that I wanted to show you folks is I wanted to show you what a web chat looks like from the customer's perspective. So basically, what does it look like when I'm a customer and I'm trying to chat in? So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go to our website here. We'll just refresh real quick. And the reason I refreshed is I wanted to point out that with our web chat widgets, and I'll show you this when we go into the configuration portion, but you can set different things up so there's a little bit of a delay, so it doesn't pop up right away. You can dock it, you can change the appearance of this web chat widget. There's plenty of ways to customize it. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to chat now. I'll start by filling out my information. Now, you'll notice here that a bunch of these fields are mandatory. When you are adding in your web chat widget, you can choose whether to make these fields mandatory, whether to make them optional, or whether to hide them. The reason that you might want to make them mandatory or at least optional is the more information you can collect up front, the more ways we can tie conversations together on the back end. So if someone's calling in with this phone number, and they're also sending in emails with this phone number, we'll be able to tie this web chat conversation together with that client. So you can view that all as one like history of interactions as opposed to having to look for separate types of interactions. We're going to go ahead and select our department as well. Not a requirement, but you can add in departments just for further customization. And we'll go ahead and we'll keep this email transcript option on. So I'm going to select chat now. Now, the first thing that pops up is our entrance message. Now, with this entrance message, we are allowed to customize it. And what we did here is we actually have a variable value that you can put in, estimated wait time. And what that does is if you throw in the bracketed estimated wait time, what our system will do is we're going to go ahead and throw in the average of your response time for the last 10 web chats so people can get an idea as to how long it's going to take to receive a response. Now, the other thing you'll notice is we have this kind of stock model picture up here and we don't have any name, but as soon as we get a response, that's going to update and change. So we can see Lucy is typing, perfect. We can see Lucy's picture here, we're talking to Lucy, and then Lucy's saying, hey, how can I help you? So we're going to pretend that we're Michael, even though I entered my name as Max, and we're gonna say, I have a demo form for you. and we're going to go ahead and attach that. So with our web chats, you can go ahead and you can send in attachments, obviously from the agent side, as we saw before. We can also do that from the customer side. There's an option you can enable or disable as well. So that works for us. We're going to say excellent. It works perfect. We're going to send a little emoticon, and then we are good to go. And that's really all that you need to do in order to initiate a web chat as a customer. Again, really easy. We can customize the fields that people see and people have to input information into. And we also have the ability to rate conversations when they're finished. So I'm going to go ahead and give Lucy 5 stars and say Lucy was great. And again, you may or may not have noticed, but in the history of interactions with a client, you'll see any ratings that pop up as well. So you can see how many stars they've gotten in the last few interactions. So at this point in time, I've actually gone through the agent and the customer perspective of the live demo for the web chat. So I want to talk a little bit more about setup. Now, I'm not going to go too deep into setup, and we're not going to go into all the different little settings and set a media stream up right now, but I do want to kind of give an idea as to how easy it is to get everything set up and how easy it is to change things. So first, we're going to go into our contact center, and then forgive me here, we do have quite a few cues, so I have to do a little bit of clicking to get to where I want to go. But we're going to end up going to our Kakapo media streams, and this is where we want to be. So first and foremost, we have a bunch of media streams already created, but if you ever need to add any, all you do is you click Add Media Stream. Once this page loads, you'll choose your language, and then you'll choose your media type. So in this case, we'll choose web chat. And then all you have to do is fill out the rest of the fields here in order to go ahead and get it started. Now, it looks like there may be a bunch, but there really isn't too many things that you have to take care of. A lot of them are already chosen for you. Now, instead of actually creating one, let's just go and take a look at one that's already been created. So I'm going to go to my car shop web chat over here, and we're going to go to profile. And these are all the same settings we saw before with the add media stream. So we're working with the same options here. So starting on top, the first thing I wanted to point out is that conversations can be transferred option. So you may remember that I pointed that transfer option out when we were in the web chat as an agent. You can enable or disable that for all of your agents. You have the ability to, have an in-office profile. So if you have certain office hours, you can set them here. This allows you to also utilize that presence-based scripting. You also have this use less agent if available. In situations where maybe you have a client in a tech support environment, or maybe there's a customer working with one of your agents on a long-term project, this can be a really powerful option, because if the last agent they spoke to is available, that agent's going to get the conversation first, and then if they're not available, it goes to somebody else. Now, I was mentioning before some of the different options, such as phone number, email. This is where you can go ahead and you can make that mandatory. You can make it optional. We can hide things. So I don't have to have the name in here. I don't have to have your phone number or email. You have the email transcript option as well, and then you have your ratings and your attachments. I mentioned before kind of the entrance message where we had that variable with the estimated wait time, and this is exactly what I was referring to. So pretty much here, you'll be able to put in your custom entrance message for your clients. In this one, we're so excited to talk about cars with you. We'll be with you, and gives the estimated wait time, and then pretty much once you start the conversation. Going a little further down, you also have the capability of changing exactly how this web chat widget appears. For instance, instead of always show, we can maybe show it only during office hours, or only show it when an agent's joined. So instead of having that web chat option up, and maybe potentially having an agent who's not available and then just getting a missed conversation, you can make sure that that widget only ever appears when an agent is available. So no one's starting a conversation when nobody's there to take it. You can also, as I mentioned, do it during office hours, outside of office hours. You have the ability to change the color here. So if you wanted to, maybe blue doesn't match with my website so well, I can change the color. I can also, we saw before that when Lucy responded to us, we saw her picture and her name. That's where this option is here. It's just a simple on or off switch for you. You can also customize your pictures or use the stock models we have. And then you also have the ability to customize the text and the appearance of this widget, whether it's a window or whether it's docked. Now, I think one of the best parts about all this is once you finish creating your widget, let's go ahead and let's update it. But once you're finished with it, and you want to make sure to test it before you go live, I want to make sure that all my agents know how to respond. I want to make sure it's working right from my point of view as a business owner before I go ahead and make it go live on my website. I can click test stream, which is what you need to do in order to generate the HTML script that you would embed on your website to add the widget here. But the other thing you can do is you can create a test HTML file, which will basically create a test web page for you, and it allows your web chat widget to pop up. So I can see, we see, let's talk about cars, chat now. We'll just throw in my name and a phone number, and we'll just choose the first department. So even though this isn't a real website, this isn't published anywhere, I can still test it to make sure that my agents know how to answer. And then in a moment or two, one of my agents will respond, and then we'll basically, I can ensure that they know how to reserve and then get back to a conversation. Looks like maybe one of my other agents isn't signed in, so I'm just going to go ahead and check this here. We'll reserve it. So again, you don't even have to put this, publish this, make it go live on your website. You can still test it, make sure it's working, really kick the tires, so to speak, so you're really confident before you go ahead and make it available for your customers. All right, so at this point in time, I've actually covered everything I wanted to on the live demonstration portion. So I'm gonna go ahead and flip it back over to our PowerPoint so we can kind of summarize our main points, then break it off for question and answer. So how is web chat going to help you? Number one, it's easy deployment and simple licensing. We saw pretty much what was needed in order to create a web chat widget for our website. There's a few options that we definitely need to adjust, but most of the other options are already chosen for us, so we can get going quickly. And again, you can test it quickly. Our portal will generate the HTML for you, so it's easy to deploy, and you only need one media stream license for it on top of your agent dashboards. Web chats provide a more personal approach to customer interaction. Number one, because you can provide additional avenues of conversation, but you can also customize those avenues of conversation. The third thing here is you do have all that previous history stored for quick reference. As you noticed when I answered the conversation and when I clicked on the the most recent history option, we're able to see previous interactions between that client and my agents. So if I wanted to pick up on a previous thread, it's really easy for me to do so because I can see everything right then and there. You have that reply and resource repository for those quick responses and for those forms, PDFs, links, whatever that your agents normally need to send out fairly often, frequently. We can add those into those reply and resource repositories so they're easy and quick to send out. Those can also be customized per web chat or per web chat instance. So maybe tech support web chat has one set of resources and a sales web chat has a completely different set. You do have that capability to customize it. You do have also the capability of fully customizing your web chat widget to suit your business needs. As we saw, you can collect different pieces of information. We can have different messages pop up. You can have different, you can ask for direct customer feedback after those interactions. There's really lots of ways to customize it to suit what you need. And lastly, there's multiple media streams and ACD calls all in one application. And this really is maybe one of the best parts about all this, is all of this sits right on top of your current BroadSoft ACD deployment. If you have clients that want omni-channel capabilities, you don't have to get rid of your BroadSoft investment. Our Unity Contact Center sits right on top of it, utilizes BroadSoft for the ACD portion, and our virtual cloud will go ahead and handle all the other streams. So you can offer web chat, you can offer email queues, you can offer SMS queues, all with your current BroadSoft ACD deployment. All right, so actually at this point in time, I've covered everything that I've wanted to cover. So I want to bring my colleague Lee on for some question and answer. So Lee, do you want to join us just to go over some questions and answers? Or I guess ask the questions and I'll provide the answers.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, Max. Yeah, we've got a couple of questions. How do we add agents into a media stream?
So to add agents into a media stream, what you need to do is create what we call a routing phase. Now, a routing phase is basically just the way to think of it is, how do we want those conversations to be handed out as they come in? And you have pretty much very similar options to like an ACD call center. When conversations come in, you can have the routing phase offer that conversation to every agent simultaneously. So the first person to answer it will get the customer. You can do it in a circular pattern. You can do it on the longest idle. But pretty much all you have to do is create a routing phase, and you have the same options as you would in a call center to hand those out to your agents. Great question.
Thank you. Going back to the JavaScript or the configuration side, do we need to update that JavaScript every time we make a change to the web chat?
That's one of the best parts about this. You don't have to. The JavaScript itself, you never need to update unless you actually just want to get rid of it. You can make any updates you need directly on our portal, and all of those updates will take effect and will apply to your web chat widget on your website in real time once you hit that update button on the bottom. I do want to say, if anyone is interested in a demo, if anyone wants to get more information, if anyone wants to discuss this more, discuss any of our other products more, please feel free to reach out to either myself or to Lee Fallon. So if you're in North America, reach out to me. If you're in Europe, reach out to Lee. If you're not in North America or Europe, reach out to either one of us. We'll make sure you get, you get the assistance you need, and we'll make sure that you get what you're looking for, and as well as any demos or anything like that. So feel free to reach out to us for anything, demos, questions, discuss. And then, yeah, I just wanted to say thank you again, everybody. Thank you for your time. We appreciate it. If anyone has any additional questions or wants to get more, have more of an in-depth conversation, please feel free to reach out to either myself or Lee. But just want to say thank you again. Have a wonderful rest of your day, wonderful rest of your week. And thanks and take care, everybody.